one, let's switch over to 3A. Rockets Williamsville. Really good 1-4 matchup. Unity's only loss this year was to Bloomington Central Catholic by 7. Williamsville just destroying everybody. Unity had a close game against Monticello, and
Mm.
I think a lot of people did expect that. Monticello has such a good head coach, good program, and they went for two, and it didn't work out. So Unity survives. Bullets just scoring a ton. What are your initial takeaways of this matchup?
I mean, it's kind of a renewed playoff rivalry. I looked it up. They've played each other 6 times within the last like 15 years. No, this will be the sixth time. I'm sorry. Unities owns the 3-2 lead in that series. It's a big one, and looking through all the classes, I do think it is one of the better games we're going to have in the state of Illinois class system, regardless. So, can Waynesville slow down Unity's passing game? Can Unity slow down Matthew Miller in the Waynesville offense? He sat out of the first quarter of their game against Porta, and then he still had 4 touchdowns, I think, on 8 or 9 carries. I mean, the kid is a difference maker. I think that's shocked everyone coming into the season. They lose kind of a program leading rusher in Braddock Cates, who graduates, and then Matthew Miller comes in and is just doing whatever he wants, and he's really turned it on in the back half of this season. But Unity has been a team I've heard since last December could be the team coming out of the South to play for a 3A title. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if whoever wins this game does end up playing at Hancock Stadium. I said it few weeks ago when we talked, and I'll still rely on that. That I think this Unity Williamsville winner it could be who plays for a 3A state title.
You were at that Williamsville game when they took down Porta, scored 53 points. What just stood out? Yeah, and they were supposed to win that game, but
Yeah.
what kind of, as a former coach, what kind of stood out? Like what worked in offense, what looks good on defense?
And I even talked to Joe Reed, Hillsborough's head coach, was my college roommate and really good friend, and I talked to him after their first round matchup. I'm like, man, it went down in a hurry, and he's like, the amount of pressure that Williamsville puts on you almost immediately is hard to deal with. Porter went up 6-0 Saturday. Williamsville scored, I think, 6 to 7 plays later after they got the ball, and then got a turnover on the ensuing kickoff too. So they take advantage of every opportunity given to them, and they never let off the gas. I mean, they're going to come at you with defensive pressure. The things they're schematically doing offensively is putting pressure not just up the middle or outside. It is whole field. You have to worry about so many different playmakers that it's tough to deal with.
When I look at Unity, like it seems like they got pretty good size. Their defense is pretty good. Their offense, they're not putting up 65, 70 points. They kind of remind me like an old Cardell Jones, like Ohio State team. Like they want to run the ball. They got a really good quarterback who's 6'4" and Dane Eisenmeger. I have no idea like how this game is going to go. I know it's at Williamsville. They probably have a more explosive offense. What's kind of your gut telling you about this, pivotal game?
Man, I think it's going to come down to if somebody flinches at some point. Is there going to be a fourth down stop, or is there going to be like a field goal opportunity that gets missed that maybe turns into a difference making play on the other end? I think it really is a coin flip. Because I live over here and I know Coach Coons very well, I'll say I'm rooting for the Bullets, but Dane Eisenmenger, I think, might be one of the best small school quarterbacks in the state. He's got a rocket of an arm, and I think offensively they don't put up a ton of points, like you said, but I don't think they're afraid of. I just don't. I think they do it maybe purposely, like they get leads and just take their guys out and say, you know what, that's good enough. So they're very very good, and again, very big up front as well.
Yeah. And it's like Ohio State this year, only 34 against Purdue. It's just like you don't need to. Like
Yeah, we'll
there's
do it
times
if
where
we
Dane
need
just
to,
runs
and
the
yeah.
ball and they run some clock and they huddle up and stuff. So, all right. So you leaning Williamsville, you think pull.
I'll lean, yes, absolutely leaning Winslow. I don't want my house to get TP'd or anything. I live in Sherman. And I really embrace the district. getting to coach under Aaron Coons right out of college really taught me how to be a coach and what to look for, and it's helped me kind of in my broadcasting career too. So I'm leaning Bullets. No disrespect to the Unity Rockets. They also, if we're going way back, my only playoff appearance in high school, we had to play Unity, and they beat the crap out of us. So maybe still hold some ill feelings towards that.
Scott Hamilton ran such a good program and
Yeah.
handed it right off to Tony. And you talk to people around the program, they're like, the guy is a technician. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like very detail oriented. Like they're not going to go anywhere. And they've done
No.
a really good job this year. Like I thought before the year they could make a state championship. And
Hmm.
I mean, they're eight. That was a tough loss against Bloomington, but they really bounced back.
Yeah.
Um, just last question, but so what do you think the score would kind of be? Like a 35-31 Williamsville?
Yeah, I think high 20s, low 30s kind of area. The points are going to get scored. But if like a 28-24 type final I wouldn't be shocked if it's somewhere in that.
All right, next game. This one's interesting. St. Joseph Ogden taking on Vandalia. I thought before the year, I thought St. Joe would be an 8-1 football team. You got a four-star left tackle, Cameron Wagner. Cody McKinney is a really good high school quarterback, a dual threat guy. Their defense took a big step in the wrong direction in the regular season. I was shocked they went 5-4, but
Yeah.
pretty good wins. I mean, they did beat 9-0 Benin. They won their last game 42-32. So they're taking on another undefeated team. And this game's at St. Joe.
I think that's a
They have a
difference
shot.
maker. Yeah, I think that's a difference maker. And I haven't seen much of Vandalia. They're very, from what I was told, they're close to what Williamsville does. Maybe not as explosive as what Williamsville is, but a very good program. Jason Clay down there does a great job. They're kind of they've been in these situations before, within the last 6 to 8 years, with quarter and semifinal appearances. But St. Joe has figured it out, and they played a tough schedule. Their four losses were all against teams that have made this or made the second round of the playoffs. So, um, they did give up a lot of points there in the middle of the year, and maybe they've made some adjustments to get that ship righted. But shout out to all the people that told me I was crazy when I said St. Joe's going to make the quarterfinal. But here we are, and we're talking about a home St. Joe game, which is not an easy place to play for road teams. They could be looking at a semifinal date.
I know that is very intriguing on that game. I remember when we were talking about the betting game, you were like, "No, Ben's a really good football team, but the strength of schedule through the regular
Mhm.
season just may not have been as strong." I don't know if you have any insight, but is it possible it's kind of like that with Vandalia too?
I would see that Vandalia pay what is it? The South Central Conference that they play in. It's a lot of 2A, smaller 3A schools. Greenville, who Vandalia beat in the second round, their conference opponents. Pana is in that conference too. So not a ton of, in Hillsborough as I'm kind of thinking. There are great programs in that and teams that played very well this year. But with St. Joe, with Bloomington Central Catholic and Monticello Unity, and then they also played Seneca as a non-conference game, who's a tough team up north. I think St. Joe's schedule has set them up for success right now. I mean, they've seen it all, and I think they've weathered that storm. And the coaching staff's been there a while and knows that we need to be hitting full stride as it gets to late October to play as deep as we can. I think they're doing that.
And St. Joe Unity, if they happen to meet, that
If
is a
that is a
huge
semi,
rivalry.
that'll be a big one. Turn off the lights in all those towns because everybody will be at that game.
Yeah, I remember last year they started 11-0 St. Joe. Like I was like, oh, they're going to the state championship, and I mean, Unity just
Yeah,
destroyed them in
just
the
yeah, took
second or
it to
third
him.
round game,
Yeah,
35-7.
yeah, took it to him. That was one last year. I was like, oh, whoa,
It was
what
shocking.
happened? Yeah.
Switching over to 4A. Oh wait, so just got it. So do you think St. Joe pulls off the upset?
I do. I think St. Joe pulls off the upset again. They're the Illinois Cinderella story going into the semifinal weekend, I think.
I'm telling you, in college football, they'd be like, Well, St. Joe actually has some quality losses, and they would not be a 14th seed. That's what's. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to watch more videos from Fox, Illinois.